Welcome, everybody, to another installment of Intuitive Guidance with Torniamo. Today, I have Victoria here with me, who has very kindly agreed to that I am going to get to record my tarot reading with her. So, welcome, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you.
She has not had a tarot reading before, and I think it's always such a privilege to be the first person that reads the tarot for somebody because I think it can be quite a formative experience on how you think about the tarot moving forward. You know, you hear some horrible stories of people being
Mm.
told the most horrendous things, and then they get terrified of the tarot moving forward. So thank you so much for giving me that privilege and honor. I really appreciate it. I always open my readings with that, of course, anything I say today is just advice and guidance. The future is not set in stone. And please don't make any life-altering decisions. The moment we turn off the camera, you're like, Victoria's like, I'm gonna move across the world because Tor said so. No, no, no. Let it, you know, let it sit with you for a moment and let it integrate and just allow whatever to resonate, and everything else to go. So we could approach this in two different ways, Victoria.
Mhm.
We could open with an open reading and just see what comes forward with the tarot cards, or you might have a question or an area of your life that you might like me to pull some cards on. People
Mm.
usually ask about love or career or just life in general. I tend to stay away from health, but of course, depending on the question, that's also possible. What would you like?
Um, I think I would say an open reading actually, because otherwise
Sure.
I would just focus on one area. And I think it would be nice just to have an open reading.
Yeah, let's do that. So,
Okay.
just to give you a brief introduction to the tarot, the tarot has 78 cards. It is divided into the major and minor arcana. This deck is actually special because it has 80 cards. And let's see if any one of
Okay.
those cards show up. Each card has a picture. Historically, each card has been assigned a meaning. I do, of course, work with those pictures and meanings, and I also work with what it is that I pick up in the moment. Before we head in, do you have any questions? Anything you'd like me to explain or elaborate on?
No, no, I'm happy. I feel very safe in your hands. So,
Thank you, appreciate it. Let's see. I always say that the tarot only ever shows us opportunities and challenges and how to navigate them with as much ease as humanly possible, you know. Often people think that the tarot is going to like show us something bad. And
hmm.
and I don't necessarily think so, you know. It's only opportunities and challenges and
Yeah.
how to navigate that with as much ease as possible. Okay, let's see what we have got for you today. So the four cards, I'll show you the four cards first, and I'll sort of move back and forth depending on what shows up when as
Hmm.
I am speaking. And so the four cards that has come up today, first of all, we have the seven of swords, and this card is reversed. And as you
Hmm.
can see on this card, with it being upright, this fellow has taken all of the swords. He's like hiding. He is stepping away. He's going
Hmm.
out on his own. Um, there is a slight sort of This card has an interesting energy in a way because there is, I would say, almost like a darker shade, but not really, because this card usually has an energy of needing to be strategic about your choices.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
sometimes that strategy to others might seem like you're hiding the truth, that you're not showing everybody everything. But there's a really, really
Hmm.
important reason for that. In this moment in time, it's actually important that you're not entirely 100% transparent, basically. So
Hmm.
you can show some part of the truth, but actually in this moment, let's say it's important that you hold your cards, no pun intended, close to your chest, basically.
Yeah.
And don't show everything that's going on, because I'm
Hmm.
also getting a feeling, okay, that's interesting, and this happens as I am speaking, is that I feel that perhaps, yeah, and I think that in some ways resonates with the rest of it, is that maybe it's a colleague or a friend or somebody who is somewhat close to you, which is trying
Hmm.
to either get in on a deal or get in on something that you're working on. And actually, in this moment in time, it's important that you don't tell them everything that's going on in your life and that you're keeping that
Okay.
slightly to yourself. Because of the rest
Yeah.
of the cards, it feels
Hmm.
work related. So let's say there's a
Okay.
colleague, like it feels work related. So keep your cards of what you're working on somewhat close to your chest, basically.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
also feels like, yeah, because of the rest of the cards, it also feels to me that perhaps there's also a client who's doing this to
Okay.
you, where
Okay.
they are not providing you with all of the information that you need to move forward.
Hmm.
And if this is a feeling that you are carrying right now, and your intuition is telling you, I think this client is not telling me everything that I need to know to be successful at this, or they're putting their project out for a tender, and you are one of the
Yeah.
people who's like being considered, basically.
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and if there's a feeling where you're like, I think they're sort of hiding something, I think it's important that you trust that, and also, if there's a possibility, then try to get some more information from them,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
What I do think is important, though, is that
Hmm.
it's not a time to overreact as well. So
Hmm.
even though this is happening,
Okay.
it's like, try to keep your cool, basically.
Hmm.
Because the next card that I have pulled for you is
Yeah.
Temperance upright. Um, Temperance is a bit of a boring card in a way, because it's like, just try to keep your cool if you can. Stay balanced. As you can see, this woman, she's
Hmm.
holding a cup in that hand, and she's holding a cup in the other hand as well. And water is flowing between these two cups. And so,
Hmm.
what's important is that just try your best if you can.
Yeah.
The human mind does not work like that most often, but if you
Hmm.
can, practice some temperance, basically. Practice some
Okay.
temperance.
Yeah.
Because, and it's interesting, because the next card that we have coming up is the Five of Coins reversed. And if this card had been upright, I would have been like, you might not get this project. Like this one might
Hmm.
not go ahead. However, with it being reversed, I feel that there's a project that you're waiting on, or have already received it, and
Mm.
this is going to come forth, basically.
Okay.
So I think if you're just, I mean, practicing some patience, I know it's like really boring, but
Hmm.
practice practice a little bit of patience. I think that with the five of coins being reversed, I think that an idea or a project that you were expecting to not go your way is actually going to come your way. Because I feel that
Okay.
perhaps you were thinking it's not coming, but actually it's the other way around. It will come.
Right.
Just
Okay.
just a little bit of patience.
Okay.
The last card that we have pulled though is the knight, no, not the knight, the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles,
Hmm.
he is reversed. What does that feel to me? This does to me feel to me that, again, because it is Pentacles related, it's not always
Hmm.
about money and career. It can also be about health and the home and so on and so forth. But because of the other cards feel very much work related,
Mm.
perhaps you were thinking about partnering with somebody or outsourcing
Mm.
somebody or considering to work with, it doesn't have to be a man, just somebody who holds quite a masculine energy.
Hmm.
I think with this card being reversed, I would probably hesitate and just making sure that
Okay.
this is actually the person that you want to work with. Because there's
Hmm.
something about with this card being reversed that they might not have your best interest at heart, basically.
Okay.
That's what
Hmm.
that's what that's what that tells me about the energy that's around you right now, looking at these
Hmm.
four cards together. Did any of that resonate? Like, how did that sound? Like, how does that feel to you?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I am waiting on like on work news at the moment, so that definitely fits with that. I mean, there's a little bit of like me kind of telling myself, oh, it's not going to come in, the work's not going to come in,
Mm,
blah blah blah. So I think that really fits. And then also, yeah, I am considering weirdly at the moment partnering up with somebody in my business to, so that we can expand together as two kind of freelance consultants. So
mm,
yeah, that's kind of it's kind of weird that you said that.
mm,
Um, because we're actually working on a project together at the moment with a view to it becoming something more permanent next year. So,
mm.
and I do have a few hesitations around it. So that's really interesting.
Mm. That is really, really interesting because that's exactly
Yeah.
what this card kind of speaks to. And I think what you would have to become really clear with this individual
Mm.
is that you actually hold the same vision and that you
Yeah.
hold the same values.
Hmm.
And perhaps there's some thinking that if you don't do this, your business and your career won't expand, right?
Yeah.
But those are also potentially limiting beliefs, right? In a sense of
Yeah.
like that you have to
Hmm.
work with this specific person. But I
Hmm.
think that if there is, if your intuition is telling you, I'm having some hesitations,
Hmm.
then you might want to think about whether that's something that you want to go ahead with, basically. It's not saying don't do it, but just double check, basically.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what these cards are. That's what these cards are very much suggesting that you
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that just
That's
came.
good.
That just felt
Yeah.
because that's also the first card. As I was sort of doing the four cards, and I flipped
Yeah.
them each individually.
Yeah.
Is sort of the card with the most strong energy was the King of
Hmm.
Pentacles. As I was looking at
Right.
it, and
Yeah.
that like I just had such an immediate hit like, oh, I think this is a business partner of some sorts that
Hmm.
she needs to, yeah, just think about whether it's exactly the right fit, or
Yeah.
maybe the partnership just has to be rejigged slightly so that it's actually more aligned with what you want to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's
That's
good.
what it
That's
is.
good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And it's as I was also just feeling into your energy, I just got such a strong feeling of like the color green and also like violet indigo, like which of course is like the crown chakra and the third eye
Yeah.
and the heart chakra. And I think that why did I feel the heart chakra in that way. I did feel that maybe there's still, and I mean, I suppose this is going to sound a bit obvious, but I did feel
Yeah.
that, especially around your heart, there's some sort of emotional tenderness that needs to
Mm.
be looked at, I
Released.
suppose. Released, looked
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, who doesn't? But in a sense that,
Yeah.
because there was just something around like love and relationships and feelings and
Oof.
just
Yeah.
something around that space that needs to be addressed or
Yeah.
not just left by itself, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then it will just linger and, you know,
Yeah.
so that's if you have some time and space to like look into that, I would
Yes. Yeah.
highly recommend you doing that.
Okay.
And I think that with your violet and crown chakram being the way that it was, I do feel that um, you are stepping into potentially like an incredibly creative time period and actually trusting
Hmm.
yourself to be more creative than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah.
Because again, those fears about work not coming in, which is being a freelancer myself, I have a full understanding of that
Yeah.
fear basically. But if
Yeah.
we allow it
Hmm.
to, if we allow it to take on too much space and whole of our mind, that actually limits our creativity quite a bit.
Hmm.
And so if you can find tools and practices to manage that a bit better, that would be highly recommended.
Okay. Sounds
Any
amazing.
any questions on your mind? Anything you'd like me to elaborate on?
Um, I mean, I guess for me, it's like the end of the year. It's been quite an unusual year this year. It's been quite tough in many ways.
Mm,
And I guess I sort of always feel like the new year, like everybody, it's like a fresh chance. And
mm.
yeah, I just like to feel like next year is going to be a little bit easier, that it's not, it's going to be a bit more of a smooth journey rather than like a bit of a roller coaster. But yeah, that's a big question to ask, isn't it? For
I mean, I can, if you have time, I could pull two
yeah,
cards on. Do you want me to pull two
yeah,
cards on next
yeah, that
year
would be great. Yes, please. That would be wonderful.
and just see what shows up? At least my least favorite card has shown up, which is the Five of Pentacles upright. Basically, it's probably my
Yeah, all right.
least.
Oh my goodness.
That is, I mean, obviously that. I mean, like I said, there's no good or bad, but I'm like every time the Five of Pentacles shows up upright, I'm like, oh no.
Oh gosh.
I'm
Oh
like,
no.
what do I have to process now? What is the challenge that I have to
Yeah, yeah.
find my way through, basically? I mean, next year is looking very, very positive, I would say. So the first
Good.
card that I have pulled the Knight of Wands. That's the first card. That's the first card upright.
Hmm.
The Knight of Wands, it's all about passion, it's about motivation, it's about charisma. It's like a real sort of like just a fiery energy, basically.
Hmm.
And so I would say that this leads me to believe that next year is going to have lots of just like continuous motivation throughout the year. And I think that you're going
Hmm.
to get to work on some projects that's going to just feel and seem really exciting. And I
Yeah.
also feel that perhaps some of that heaviness that you've been feeling this year will
Hmm.
be released. So the second card that I have pulled is the Ten of Wands reversed. And as you can see, upright, this is like this person is carrying all of these wands and it looks quite heavy, but with it being reversed,
Hmm.
I feel that that means that perhaps some of that heaviness that you have been carrying this year, next year will be less present. And so, yeah, I
Okay.
think for you, Victoria, 2026 is looking very positive. And just as I feel, what is the color? I just had an immediate feeling, and that fits very well with the Knight of Wands. It's just a real feeling. The colors to me are like orange and yellow. And orange,
Mm-hmm.
it's our second chakra, which is all about like fire and motivation, ambition, energy, and just feeling like you are sort of in your power. And the same thing with yellow, right? Which is about your
Mm-hmm.
purpose, but also about your worth and how you're feeling about
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
so perhaps one of the things that you can be thinking about throughout December, and start a year with a new sense of like, what is your sense of self-worth rooted in, basically?
Mm.
And how can that be shifted into something positive? And how can that
Yeah.
positive groundedness of your self-worth parachute you through that 2026?
Mm. Mm. Amazing. Thank you.
Pleasure. Well, any final thoughts? Any final questions?
No, I was trying to stay away from like asking any questions about love because I know that everybody does that, and I don't want to be a cliche. So I'm like, just yeah, just stay away from that. But yeah, if you have any, if there's anything there that you want to, I don't know, I don't know how you.
Sure. No, I mean, with the green energy coming up earlier, I was like, this has to do with love. And I do think that with that green energy coming through, I do feel that there's going to be a positive development in
Oh,
that
good.
part in that part of your life, basically. Otherwise, the
Yeah.
green wouldn't have shown up in the way that it did, and which is why I was like, but I do feel there is some
Okay.
healing that needs to be done in that space. It doesn't mean that
Mm-hmm.
you can't do
Mm-hmm.
healing whilst being in a relationship, but
Yeah.
I felt that with that green
Mm-hmm.
energy coming up, she is looking for guidance around love, and I think also the reason why it shows up is because I do think there is a positive element in that space, and I even feel that it could happen within the first, like within the first 6 months of next year, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Good. So all positive stuff for next year.
I think so. That's what it seems to me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Amazing.
much, and hope
Thank
that was helpful.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.